So we're here, AHR 2023, Atlanta, Georgia.
It is.
I'm with Tony. Tony Gonzalez from Fieldpiece, and we're going to be talking about a bunch of Fieldpiece stuff. They've got some new product that we actually haven't talked about yet, but we want to talk about training and all that stuff. So start with Tony. How's the show going for you?
The show is going insane.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Insane. Started off Sunday night at the HVAC Tactical Awards.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nice event. Had an opportunity to wear a tuxedo for the first time in my life. So that was actually kind of
That's not the first time in your life, is it?
An actual tuxedo,
yes. Like a wedding, nothing like that?
No, I was more of a suit, kind of regular tie type of person. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
So you rented it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I rented it. And then, Monday and Tuesday, at the Fieldpiece booth, I've had 2 micro training sessions every single day, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock. There's actually one going on simultaneous right now. Okay. I am doing I'm doing your podcast and that training session at the same time right now.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Technology.
So are you saying you have a clone?
I am a clone.
That would teach you up. Tony and I have like this weird Jim Rome connection. That's going to go over everybody's heads. But anyway. So,
but I mean, first time, long time. Thanks for the Vine. Appreciate it.
right.
Appreciate
Have
that.
a take, don't suck. Yeah, good stuff. So this event is definitely bigger than last year in Vegas. I haven't heard the actual numbers, but it seems to me like it's bigger and it's got more going on. Does it feel that way to you too? Or?
Yeah, I think the further we get away from when the world shut down, more people are coming out. And it's just been nonstop traffic and really good conversations with people, right? Yeah. Talk to your customers and just have the ability to help them. A lot of them have questions. We just love to, provide that support.
Yeah. So you were telling me one of the questions that you got that you never got before. Mm-hmm. So I want to bring that one out, which was somebody asked you, how does Fieldpiece make such good stuff? Right? Like, how do you make so many good tools? And actually, I know this firsthand because I've had your engineers ride along with our techs and all that. But talk about that a little bit. Like, what does it take to make really good tools?
Yeah. So, at first I got to admit that question kind of caught me off guard. That's like if someone asked you, hey, Bryan, why are you so good looking?
Right.
It's like,
and the answer is I was just born that way. I can't help it. Yeah.
Right. No, but I can actually speak from really good experience for this. So before I started our training department at Fieldpiece, I was a Fieldpiece engineer for about 10 years. Mm-hmm. So I've lived it firsthand. And what we believe sets us apart is our philosophy is that we are not developing products, but we're developing solutions to problems. Right. And so as engineers, we spent time in the field, understanding what the applications are, how they do things, what's hard for them. Because sometimes you can ask the technician, hey, what do you want Fieldpiece to do? Or how can we do something better? And a lot of times they don't know how to answer that question. And so when you actually get to go and watch what they're doing and then just ask questions, why do you do that? Well, why do you do it that way? Why do you do it this way? Yep. And then in their own way, they are telling us what their problems are.
Right.
We take those back and we design a solution, which turns into a product.
Yep.
And, we've never come out with a Me Too product. If there isn't a way for us to make a particular product help the technician do their job easier, faster, or better, then we're just not going to do it, or it's further down the pipeline until we can figure that out.
Yeah. No, we see that time and time again. You guys think these things through. And like, I'm not just saying that. That's been personal experience from having your engineers come to Kalos right along with our techs. They've done it a few different times. We've had cases where they've called me up my cell phone, asked questions. That's what we love to see. You guys also do a lot in terms of like, getting advice from the field from a lot of different contractors. And then also you're doing a lot now with training. So talk about some of those kind of initiatives, some of the specifics of how, what you guys are up to.
Yeah. So a couple years ago, excuse me.
Need a water?
No, I got it.
Oh, you got water there? Okay, good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Cough drop? You got one?
I do, but it's in my mouth. So that it would be kind of awkward for everybody to see that live. But anyway, keep going.
All right. Well, then we'll split it 50-50 once you get.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. Fair. So about 3 years ago, Fieldpiece as a company, we wanted to take a more proactive approach to training. Yeah. We understand that there's a huge lack of training and education in our industry, and that there's a huge void of labor force technicians. Every single year, sorry.
Every single year, I'll fill it in. Every single year, thousands of polar bears needlessly die in the Arctic.
In addition to that,
Okay.
tens of thousands of new technicians are going to be coming into the field, right? And they need training. And so we wanted to help the industry in that regard. And so the way that we're doing it is, we created our training program to train contractors and technicians on best practices, on how to do the jobs that they do every single day, just easier, faster, and better, right? And what's nice about our training to the contractors is whether they're using a Fieldpiece tool or not, they're going to benefit from just the best practices, applications, things like that.
Yeah.
But as part of the class, we show them how using a Fieldpiece tool will help them do that job even better, right? In addition to that, we obviously have trainings for our distributors that we want the counter people to be able to have useful and effective conversations when technicians walk to the counter, because they're looking to the counter people for they're considered the experts.
Yeah.
And what I find is lots of the manufacturer training in the past has been void of the technical aspects of the tool. Right. And so when we go and train a distributor, so for example, if I'm going to train a distributor on a vacuum pump, I'm going to make sure that they understand what does pulling a vacuum mean, right? Why is their customer doing that? And what's important to them? Because if they don't understand that, how are they going to understand the run quick oil change and why it's so awesome, right? So it's super important for people to have that baseline of the technical in order to understand how a product does that. So the first year it was by myself, just go out creating content, training people, contractors, distributors. Since then, I've added 2 members to my team. Tyler, who's based near right here in Atlanta, Georgia, training specialist that does all the trainings around here, and Florida, Texas, all that. I have a wonderful trainer named Tammy. She's near Chicago, and we're just looking to expand our team, even more to be able to get that reach out there.
Yeah. Talking about some of the other things that you're doing, you also are doing something with Skills USA, right?
Yeah. So we are continuing. So last year we started our Master of the Trade Scholarship with Skills USA, where we awarded, I think it was, over $15,000 worth of scholarships. And we are continuing that scholarship this year. And 13 high school in their junior or senior year, or post-secondary students that are, learning HVAC and want to get into career in HVAC, will receive a total of over $25,000 worth of scholarships.
Wow.
And so the way that that's broken up is 7 of these, junior or senior years or post-secondary students that are in schools that participate with Skills USA need to submit an application. Applications opened up December 1st and close on April 1st. And in their application, what we ask for them is to submit their resume and either a 300 or word less essay or a 1 to 3 minute video on why did you choose a career in HVAC or HVAC.
Yes. And
then winners are going to be announced in May. And in addition to that, for the National Skills USA competition, 6 of the gold, silver, and bronze medals are winners there in the HVAC division will also receive part of these scholarships. And so we're super excited to, team up with Skills USA and give back to the trade, give back to the younger technicians that are, just trying to learn and get into the industry.
Yeah, about 3 years ago, I was able to go and judge nationals for HVAC and Skills USA. I went up there with RSES. Eric Heiser was there and a few others. And what an amazing experience. I mean, just to see just the level of skill, the level of variety. You have young people from all different markets. You have them all the way from kind of high school programs, all the way up through, post-secondary. So you have adults and teenagers as well. And it was a really amazing experience. And I think it's an organization worth supporting. So I'm glad to hear you're doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, another thing that we're doing with our training program is we have our Fieldpiece University, which is our online learning resource. That's just about a year old.
Yep.
And we are continuing to add content, but the idea is, so that technicians and contractors can get on-demand training. A couple years ago, you gave me some feedback of just-in-time education.
Yep.
Right. Contractors or technicians in the field have an issue with something. Provide them with a resource where they can get the education or the training that they need in the time that they need it.
Yep.
And so that's what our motivating factor is for that university. And, you know, throughout this year to continue to create more and more content on how to use the tools in the field and how to help them do their job easier and faster and better. They could just go click on something that they're looking for, watch a quick, you know, training course on it,
Yep.
and, you know, to be able to help them to finish the job.
Yeah. So where would people find that if they want to find out about it?
Just search Fieldpiece University on Google.
Okay, good.
And
it's easy.
It's pretty simple.
There
Look
you
it
go.
up.
Yeah,
That's what
there
I
you go.
say.
Yeah, just look it up. Yeah. So I want to give me 1 second. I want to start. What am I talking about? I want you to tell me. That's what this is about. You tell me things. I ask questions. You tell me things. It's been 3 days here, so I'm forgetting my name most times. So the point is, if you could share some of the new products that you guys have coming out. I know you have the combustion analyzer that's been blowing up on social media. Looks like an awesome product. Talk about that and some of the other kind of programs that surround that.
Yeah. So last fall, you know, Fieldpiece, we released 2 new models of a combustion analyzer. You know, we got a lot of feedback as, oh, does this replace your older crappy combustion analyzer? You know, the Sucks 3, and really the part number was SOX 3. But, you know, the whole idea was that was never meant to be a combustion analyzer, but I just thought that was kind of funny.
Right.
But now we actually have, you know, full-blown combustion analyzers that, again, help the technician do their job easier, faster, and better. The main thing is, I'm going to do some marketing speak right now.
Good, that's fine.
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lower the overall cost of ownership of the tool and maximize their uptime with the tool. What does that mean, right? So we have some patented technology in these new combustion analyzers that one of them focuses on the sensors and the sensor life. We know one of the tricky things and one of the biggest complaints with from technicians with combustion analyzers is you're constantly sending back sensors and sensors dying. And the fundamental principle behind that is these combustion analyzers have an oxygen sensor and a CO sensor.
Right.
Those sensors, whether you're using your tool or not, are degrading over time. Right? Just by being exposed to the oxygen in the air, they are degrading. So in the summertime, when you're not using your tool, your sensors are wearing out. So we wanted to make that a little better. So we came out with a patented technology called Sensor Vault, that when you power off the combustion analyzer, it seals both the oxygen and the CO sensor from the ambient air, thus pausing that sensor degradation. And so we provide a 4-year sensor life warranty. Nice. So that if those sensors go bad in 4 years, you get a brand new one.
Nice.
In addition to that, the sensors are completely field replaceable. So you just take off 2 screws, pop off a little panel, plug out the sensor, unplug a sensor. You don't plug out a sensor. You plug in it. You plug in, you plug out.
Yeah, unplug and plug. Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. Yeah. Plug it out, plug in a new one, and there you have it. Also, what's great to help maximize the uptime is that when you do need to get your sensors calibrated, which is recommended that you get sensors calibrated annually.
Yeah.
You don't have to send back your whole tool. You just pop out your sensor, send it back to Fieldpiece. We do the calibration, send you a certificate with your calibration, and you plug it back in. The pro tip is to maximize their uptime is have a second pair of sensors.
Nice.
So that when you send back your one sensor, your sensors, you plug in your second pair, and you always have your tool. Nice. Calibration data lives on the sensors.
Nice.
And so we wanted to, so that's one of the ways where we make it a little bit easier on the technician to not have to spend so much replacing sensors all the time.
Yeah. And
do that. The second thing, one of the complaints that we got about combustion analyzers was, having to always remember to empty a water trap. Okay. So for those that don't know, the purpose of the water trap is to collect and condense the water vapor that comes from the flue and store it in that trap, because you don't want that passing through to the sensors.
Right.
For some reason, oxygen and CO sensors don't like water.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
They're so picky.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
So, but what happens sometimes is in these really cold climates, not that in Florida and California, this would happen to us, but I hear in other parts of the world it gets really cold.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Some people say that.
Yeah.
But in those theoretical areas, when you leave the water trap filled with water overnight, water freezes.
Yeah.
What happens when water freezes? It expands,
Yeah.
cracks the water trap, and now you got some warranty issue that you got to deal with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for our higher end model, which is the Cat 85 model, we have another patented technology called hydrocycle pump. So in the actual handle of the probe, probably should have had one here. That probably would have been a good idea. You stick it into the fluid, you have the handle there. So the pump is pulling the exhaust gases from the flue, and it's taking the water vapor and it's condensing the water vapor in the handle. And instead of storing it, it just spits it back out into the flue.
Okay.
So there's no need for a water trap, and there's nothing that the technician needs to, remember to empty or replace.
Nice.
Or things like that.
Nice.
And, there's actually, I do. Okay. So I know this works where you ask me a question and then I answer.
You're going to ask me a question.
But now I kind of want to ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead. That's fine. I'm excited.
So I've done trainings on, actually, no, first this. Do your technicians in the, okay, you guys have gas furnaces, right?
We do. We don't have that many, but we do.
Okay.
Yes.
Pool heaters, right?
Yes.
A lot of stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay. Do your guys typically perform combustion analysis?
On a pool heater.
On whatever is a
yes,
gas or
do we
fire?
Typically, we do it generally when we're commissioning a new piece of equipment.
Okay.
Again, there's in our market, there's not a lot of them.
Right.
But yes, we do it. We can do it, and we have the tools to do it, but not as much as obviously other markets.
So I get that same when I do trainings in California, Arizona, Nevada. But what is your opinion of in those climates where combustion is not really commonly done, or combustion analysis, of a contractor using combustion analysis as a service to provide to their customer to separate themselves from the competition, thus increasing their business?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think only now are companies like Fieldpiece really making it easier for contractors who, haven't in the past been super familiar with combustion analysis and kind of the calibration and the sensors and all that. That made it difficult because it wasn't just the upfront cost of the tool, and obviously they're not cheap. They do a lot, but also it was very difficult to get that all done properly. So I think helping to solve some of these problems make it a lot easier and make it a lot more likely that a contractor would use it for that kind of differentiating service.
Yeah. So, so that's the message that, I train these contractors and the technicians on. I understand you don't do it now, but is this something viable for your business to be able to distinguish yourself, from your competition and provide your customer with those warm and fuzzies that their system is performing both safely and efficiently?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. One of the challenges that we still face, and this is there's, we've got tech tips on this, but a lot of techs have a hard time knowing how to do combustion analysis when they have B-vent flue. And in a lot of markets, there's still a lot of 80% furnaces. And so B-vent's very common, or some cases even B-vent with the flexible portion in it. And so that's always kind of a difficulty. When you're talking about PVC, obviously combustion analysis is a little easier. It's easier to drill a hole in PVC and put a plug in. But with traditional single wall, it wasn't too bad. But with B-vent, that's always been kind of a issue with the two walls. But we've got protocols on how to do it. But I think that's also one of the reasons why a lot of people haven't adopted it, which of course has literally nothing to do with what we're talking about. But since you brought it up, so.
No, I mean, yeah, but I'm used to that.
Oh, yeah, okay. You're used to me at this point. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's fair.
One thing you brought up are sometimes things that people don't understand, and we can help the industry with, is you talked about sensors,
right?
And there's just some confusion on between sensor life and calibration of the sensor. You know what I mean? So just to make it like perfectly clear, if people are not aware, is that when we're talking about the sensor life of a sensor, what a combustion analyzer OEM is saying is that how long can that sensor output a signal in order to generate a reading on the screen, right? So, but that has nothing to do with how accurate that that signal is.
Right.
It's, is it able to send out a signal? Because when it can't, that's when the sensor is dead.
Dead, right?
Okay.
Bad, yeah.
Yeah. And then calibration is just more of getting it back to be accurate all the time, because sensors do drift. I don't know why, but they just tend to drift over time.
Yeah. They're lazy.
Yeah.
You know, they have a bad attitude.
Exactly.
You know?
Sometimes you just have to whip them into
Yeah.
shape.
You do. You do. That's what you do back in the lab. Is you
Yes.
just give it a whack. Yeah.
We just give it a good whack.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we send them on their way.
Right.
Yeah,
We're joking. Okay. This is a joke. All right. Keep going.
I mean, it sounds like raising kids as well, but
okay. Now you're the one who had to say that. All right. Fair enough.
But yeah, so there's always those little misconceptions in the field that, you know, it's just good to clear for people. And,
yeah. So when you say for your life, that's the sensor, actual life of the sensor, but then they still recommend yearly calibration, and that's where I didn't know this till you said it, and I think that's really cool, where the calibration goes with the sensor, and you could actually be rotating two sensors. And for companies that are making it part of their just basic service that they provide, which is a really, really good thing to do. I mean, it's definitely a best practice. Having that as part of the regular flow is huge. For sure.
And so in addition to all of that, the Cat 85 combustion analyzer can measure a live draft pressure.
Okay.
So while you're performing the combustion analysis, it could also measure your draft pressure, so you can verify that. Obviously, that would only pertain to, well, that just would not pertain to a natural draft furnace, because you take those measurements in two different locations.
Right.
But for your 80%, 90%, you measure draft and combustion at the same location,
point,
and you can all have that. In addition to that, the Cat 85 also has, to help the technician do their job a little bit easier and faster, a dual port manometer built into the bottom, so they can measure the gas pressure, inlet outlet of the regulator. But also, which some people don't think about, you could also use that manometer to measure static pressure. So you can test your total external static pressure on the furnace to making sure that you don't have excessive restriction to the airflow. So all that's built in the tool. Really large screen. Again, this would have been a lot better if somebody would have just had one here, mainly me.
It's easy to find, though. All you have to do is go to the Fieldpiece website.
All you got to go.
And you have all the information right there.
No.
If only there was a place you could go.
There is no
right.
other place.
That's right.
You just
have to come to the booth. Yeah. Because I'm sure everybody who's watching this is literally here at AHR just waiting. Like, but Tony, where do we go next?
Wait, so there's more people other than this huge live audience we have?
There's only 40,000 people here, all watching just us right this second.
All right.
Nice. So go ahead. What is the booth number again?
1960.
Yeah, good. It's a good year.
1960.
It's a good year.
Not the year I was born.
Yeah,
1960.
Me neither. Not even close.
Cool. But yeah, or like you said, fieldpiece.com. You can check it out.
Yeah.
Fieldpiece products on YouTube, Instagram, stuff like that.
Cool. Anything else that you're excited about that you want to mention while we're chatting?
Yeah. So what I'm also super excited about is, I know we filled you in a couple years ago on our ambitions to launch a Fieldpiece ambassador program.
Yes.
And just give you a little update about that right now.
Yeah.
So what that basically is our training team, it's myself, and I have 2 trainers. We can't get to every single location all the time.
Yep.
So the idea was to build out a team in a network of independent trainers that we would recruit, train them on to become experts on Fieldpiece products. We put them through a course by ESCO called Teaching Methodologies, because just because you know something, it doesn't mean you know how to teach it.
Right. True.
And so they take this course with Eugene Silverstein, and then they take an assessment where they are assessed on their knowledge of Fieldpiece products, on their teaching capabilities, and their field knowledge as well. Individuals that pass that onboarding program become Fieldpiece ambassadors. And what that is, you know, we use our ambassadors to give training classes to contractors, to technicians on behalf of Fieldpiece. So it expands the reach of our training department to get in front of more technicians and more contractors to teach the same best practices to how to do their jobs easier, faster, and better. Last year was the first year that we were really, you know, getting it rolling, getting it started. We had over 70 classes that were given by our Fieldpiece ambassadors, in different parts of the countries.
Wow.
We have about 45 Fieldpiece ambassadors right now that have been onboarded.
Nice.
And the biggest challenge, frankly, is filling their dance cards. Right? It's working with distributors, it's working with contractors, it's working with trade schools to put trainings on the calendar to deploy these ambassadors to. So if you are a distributor, if you are a contractor, or if you are a trade school that is interested in technical training from either one of us from the Fieldpiece team or one of our Fieldpiece ambassadors, reach out to us. Reach out to training@fieldpiece.com, and we would love to work with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, we love working with our Fieldpiece ambassadors, and it's going good. I remember you said, which I totally agreed with, is that we're looking for unicorns. and that
unicorns,
it is hard. But you know, we feel good about where we're at. We feel that we are able to spread knowledge even more by way of our Fieldpiece ambassadors.
Yep.
And if you're interested in learning more about the program, also reach out to that training@fieldpiece.com. And because we're still recruiting in different areas of the country for different Fieldpiece ambassadors.
You're going to be responding to a lot of emails now because, you know, all the special unicorns are going to reach out to you.
Actually, 2 of our Fieldpiece ambassadors work for Kalos.
Wow, really? I know. So Jessica
and her husband.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, Craig. Yeah,
Craig.
Awesome. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Jessica and Craig. You know, went through the onboarding program, and yeah, they are excited they're chomping at the bit to start doing.
I told them they can do them at Kalos, but I don't know how many people are going to want to send their technicians to my company. You know, but yeah, no, it's great. What I love about that program, in addition to the importance of training, is also that it gets people doing training who maybe in the past weren't used to doing that. So I think it's a great opportunity for the ambassadors themselves to actually get in front of some people and get some experience, get some reps on training, because no better education than training others.
Yeah.
What else you got on your list?
I mean, I was looking at this, but I don't know.
Oh, we do have one question from the audience.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we have an actual question from the audience. So Uncle Jesse, I don't know if that's the real name. I don't know if maybe his first name is Uncle. It's possible.
Yeah, it's French.
Yeah.
Ongle.
Yeah.
Ongle.
Will the new refrigerant be detectable among the older test equipment, minus the ultrasonic, which we know is comparable across all? That's the question. So I guess he's asking, with the older heated diode leak detectors, will they detect newer refrigerants? And I do not know the answer to that. Do you?
So both the models of our leak detectors, the infrared DR82 and the heated diode DR58.
It's a lot of numbers to remember.
They are both capable of picking up these newer refrigerants. And it's just a preference of sensor type for the technician.
Yep.
And I mean, yeah, we can go a little bit into that in the differences of between an IR sensor and a heated diode sensor, because there's a lot of confusion there with that.
Why not? Do it.
So, you know, heated diode sensors have been around for a really long time. Typically, they have a sensor life of about 300 hours. So depending on your use case, you might have to replace them every 1, 2, or every 3 years. But the big key is that the reason they have to be replaced is because the sensor degrades over time. So even if you're at your half-life, let's say like at 150 hours, your sensor is less capable of finding small leaks as it was when it was brand new, but the sensor is still perfectly fine, and you have like another 100 hours left on it, right? So that's one of the downsides. So whereas on an infrared sensor, you have a sensor life of about 10 years, but the key is that the sensitivity does not degrade over time.
Right.
It stays the same. So after year 1, 5, or 7, your leak detector is still capable of finding those small leaks as when it was brand new. And another big bonus of the IR sensor is that it minimizes the false positives to oils and to soap bubbles.
Yep.
There's nothing more frustrating than looking for a leak and you have your leak detector going off on just bubbles or just random oils that are...
Because you're so excited, you think you have a leak, and then you don't.
Yeah. Oh, that only pales in comparison to when that excitement of when you're using your valve core removal tool and you unscrew the stem and you know you got it out, but no, it's not there.
I know. I hate that feeling.
I don't know about you, but I never take out that valve the first time. I'm more of a 4th or 5th kind of
a guy.
kind of a guy.
I don't know what it. Yeah, I'm the same way. I did it with. So it was really annoying too because I worked as a technician longer than Jim Bergman did. Okay, I don't know if people know this, but I worked as a technician for more years than Jim Bergman did, and yet when we were together and I was removing a core, I tried it like 6 times and I couldn't get it, and then he did it the first time. It's really annoying. You know, some of these people, they're just unicorns.
You know, someone should make something where you could actually see inside the VCRT.
Yeah.
And see if you got it.
Yeah. Does anybody make something like that?
No.
They don't. Oh, I thought you were like going to release. I thought you were teeing up a new product.
Am I?
I don't know.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. All right.
But
fair enough.
That would be a great idea.
It would be a great idea.
It would be a great idea.
I like that idea. You're a smart guy, Tony. Yeah.
It would also be nice if it can combat as you're trying to unscrew the stem or the valve from the service port. It'd also be nice if you can not have to be using all your strength to hold the stem in while you're trying to rotate it.
It's a very unnatural motion. Yeah,
it is a very unnatural.
I do the whole like hold it down with my palm and then twist it this way. You know, like that, which is a very weird. You probably can't see this. It's a very weird way of doing things. Yeah. It's also very weird that I'm demonstrating that on a live video.
No, hey,
but you know,
we're on video.
We're living our best life right now. Yeah, it's just a conversation between friends. That's all that's happening here.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so booth number again, 1960. I remembered it. 1960.
Booth number 1960.
That was a good year. Booth number 1960, AHR 2023 Fieldpiece. Fieldpiece is a great partner in education. They make good stuff, and I cannot lie. And it's because of their great process. Right? Because of their great process and making sure they actually find pain points from the field and then creating solutions, not just a bunch of Me Too products. That's something I always love about Fieldpiece. Working hard on the training side. You guys have made a lot of strides on the software side, just done a lot of really good things in the last couple of years. So congrats on that. And it's always good seeing you.
Likewise.
Yeah. And,
you know, at the end of the day, we just want to make training synonymous with Fieldpiece, just as great products is synonymous with Fieldpiece. And that's really what I'm driving for, right? When people think of Fieldpiece, we want them to think of great tools, but we also wanted to think as, you know, they provide quality training to the industry, and we are working our way towards that. And, you know, so I myself and Fieldpiece, we look up to the great educators right now. You know, yourself, Eugene, Eric, and all these other people that I'm blessed to be able to get to know, become friends with, and learn from. And we just want to do our part.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure. Well, how come you didn't put yourself on that list of great educators?
Because I don't think I'm there.
I would have put you in first on the list. So that's just me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right.
But
so
we're striving.
So you had a take.
Yeah.
You did not suck.
We'll see.
So rack him.
Depends.
Rack him.
I got racked. Probably the first guest ever racked on the HVAC
It is true.
podcast.
It is very true. And literally nobody knows what we're talking about. All right. All right. Thanks, Tony. Nice talking to you.
Likewise. Thanks, Bryan.